6 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Hail to the king, baby.
Welcome, one and all, to the world of stew. Hello and welcome to episode 47 of World of Stew. Now this is going to be, I'll just give you a warning ahead of time, a very, very spoiler heavy show. So if you don't like spoilers of what we're going to talk about, then obviously tune out, go away, watch what we're going to talk about, then come back and see if you agree with what we've got to say. Now I said what we've got to say, obviously so far you've just heard my dulcet tones. I, of course, am Stu from World of Stew, and it wouldn't be a World of Stew, as I say every week, without the Christopher Reeve to my Michael Keaton. It's Dave.
Hey, I get to be Christopher Reeve. That suits me just fine.
Well, you know, either or. I mean, you could have been the Brandon Routh to my Christian Bale. It's all good.
Hey, both of those would have been great team-up movies.
Yes.
And we'll get to that.
We will get to that yet. There is literally only one place to start this week. It was released last Friday, the 25th of March, although there were some previews on the 24th. We have both seen it. What are we talking about, Dave?
We are talking, of course, about Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice.
Now, before we go any further, we should prefix this, because just to give people who may be new to the show and haven't listened before an idea of where we're coming at. When I think of you, I think of primarily you are a Marvel boy.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely fair to say. I'm a big Marvel fan. I love the Marvel comics. I love the Marvel movies. It's only, let's be honest, it's only really been the last 10 years that I've been able to say, yeah, I think the Marvel movies are the best comic book movies out there, because previously, yeah, my childhood was rooted in Superman movies. And we all love the Michael Keaton Batman film. So, those two big icons, Superman, Batman, you gotta love them.
And I, of course, am the opposite. I am a DC guy. I've always been a DC guy. I prefer to collect the old school Batman comics and stuff. So, ahead of time, before Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice, or Batfleck vs. Superville came out, we were both full of trepidation, shall we say, because I, for one, I don't know about you, but I, for one, had no faith whatsoever in Batfleck being any good.
Likewise, I kind of, like everyone else, I heard that Ben Affleck was cast as Batman. I just thought, no, not him. No. I just thought, I didn't think he could carry it off, if I'm being honest.
Right. And then we saw the last trailer that they did for this film, and we both looked at it and went, well, there's pretty much no point watching the film now because the trailer has basically spoilt the entire thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, likewise, you've already said big spoilers. For me, the very last trailer of her film ruined it for me. Okay.
So, with all of that said, to give people the impression, we were both, if we admit, going into this looking at it from a slightly negative point of view.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to say, I don't think I was hugely prejudiced, because, I didn't have high hopes for Ben Affleck as Batman, but I did kind of enjoy Man of Steel. For me, it wasn't the Superman that I grew up with. I don't think I enjoyed it as much as Superman Returns, say. But I enjoyed it for what it wasn't, if you know what I mean. for me, it was a different take on Superman. It had a good sci-fi element at the start on the planet Krypton. You had some great superpowers in it. There were some great fight scenes, and it was clearly a really big budget film. But for me, it was lacking a certain something. I didn't think it was a 10 out of 10 Superman movie. I thought it was, okay, this could be a good start of something.
Well, you see, I didn't like Man of Steel at all, right? We're not going to go over that because we've done it before, but there was too much dumb stuff in there that took me out of it, to the point where I will go on record now as saying I would rather watch Superman 4 Quest for Peace than Man of Steel.
Well, I think that's fair enough, but for me, I was just glad that, you know what, it's a half-decent Superman movie, and I was happy with that. It had a huge number of faults, but I was kind of happy with it.
So, that, of course, brings us full circle to Batfleck versus Superville, and the reason why I'm still calling it that will become evident in a minute, or in a few minutes. Dawn of Justice, it's come out, we've watched it. Now, before we opinionate on what we thought, let's just have a quick look at what went down in the film. So, from this point on, people, there are spoilers. Spoilers. So, the film opens, Dave, as every single film appears to do these days when it's got Batman involved, rejigging the entire... Well, not rejigging, sorry, because that gives the impression they've changed it. Retelling the origin of Bruce Wayne becoming Batman.
Yeah, and for me, I was kind of thinking, why is it showing this? It's not necessary. Everyone knows who Batman is and why, and his motivation for fighting crime. I didn't think this bit was really necessary. Now,
I have a problem with this, but we'll get to that at the end. We'll go through the entire plot first, and then we'll, give our opinions. So we start off with young Bruce Wayne becoming Batfleck. We then jump to 18 months ago, is it, I think?
I think it says 18 months ago, mankind is introduced to the Superman.
Yep, so we go forwards in time to obviously when Batfleck is a fully grown adult, and we are in Metropolis at the time when Superville is battling Zod and basically destroying the entire city, killing thousands and thousands of people. Now, this time around, however, we see it from the point of view of Bruce Wayne, who's running through the streets trying to protect people and basically save... Well, he's not trying to protect people per se, he's actually just trying to protect his own employees because he has a Wayne Enterprises tower in Metropolis that is about to get destroyed. Without going into too much detail about your opinion, did this bit work for you? Because for me, it was probably the best part of the whole film.
Likewise, I really enjoyed this bit. I thought this bit was one of the best bits of the film. I thought Ben Affleck was convincing in this bit. I thought he looked a determined hero. He looked as if, you know what, take away the batsuit, he was still a hero. He was trying to save anyone he could. And it was also a very post 9/11 scene. Very, the dust flying everywhere, the skyscrapers collapsing. I thought it worked for that reason as well. But yeah, certainly one of the best bits of the film. If the whole film could have carried on like this, I would have been very happy.
Right. Now, herein lies the first major problem with the film, in that after this whole sequence where we get the human perspective on the destruction caused by Superman and Zod, basically nothing really happens for the next hour.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a few setups of plot threads, aren't there? You get introduced to Lex Luthor, who you're like, oh, by the way, this isn't Lex Luthor, is it?
No, it's Lex Luthor Jr.
Yeah, it's Alexander Luthor, so it's Lex Luthor Jr., which if you're probably going to be more familiar with this one, or give a better description of this than I am. He is not the same as Lex Luthor by any standard, is he?
He's not, but, and again we'll touch upon this again when we get to the end of the film, I didn't like Jesse Eisenberg in this film at all.
Neither did I. I like the idea of him in it. I think he could have been really good, but I think his script and his motivation and any real reason he had to be doing what he was doing in the movie just completely, well, I don't get it.
So anyway, right, before we opinionate too much, the basic plot of this next section of the film, it revolves around Batman, or Batfleck, as Bruce Wayne. He has a problem with Superman, okay, and the destruction, so he wants to bring about some sort of deterrent that he could use to prevent anything like this happening again if Superman went rogue. At the same time, Lex Luthor, who of course, as we just discussed, is Lex Luthor Jr., he is also trying to find a deterrent to, be able to stop Superville. While all of this is going on, Lois Lane gets into trouble in the desert somewhere. And did you know who that photographer was that was with her?
That wasn't supposed to be Jimmy Olsen, was it?
It was.
It was. So Jimmy Olsen is now dead.
Yes, because there's this scene where Lois Lane gets into jeopardy and she's in the middle of the desert somewhere to interview some terrorists. It turns out that her photographer is actually a plant with the CIA. He gets killed, and it's since been revealed by Zack Synder that is a little tip of the hat. That character is supposed to be Jimmy Olsen, and that he's dead. So obviously they're not playing at all on the fact that James Olsen is Superman's best friend.
Yeah, that's a bit disappointing, that, to be honest, because he is a big character, isn't he? I mean, I don't read the Superman comics much, but even in the original movies, Jimmy Olsen he's one of Superman's busy mates, and it's just like, oh yeah, let him die and turn up and rescue the pretty girl. That's I don't really like that.
So as you've said there, Superville turns up, and he saves Lois Lane. Unfortunately, before he gets there, there's like a gunfight and loads of people die. We skip forward a bit, and there is a Senate meeting because basically people are blaming Superville for, well, I'm going to start calling him Batman and Superman, let's be fair. So Superman is being blamed for killing those people. Now, herein is another issue, because Lois Lane was there, right? So
right.
Why didn't she just go before the committee and go, I was there, he didn't do it?
Yeah, absolutely, that would make sense, wouldn't it?
But obviously she doesn't. While all of this is going on, we also have a sort of another subplot going along where Bruce Wayne / Batman, he discovers a source of kryptonite, which of course he realises he could use to stop Superman if he needed to. Unfortunately, it's in the possession of Lex Luthor, or Lex Luthor Jr. So there's this other whole plot going on where he is trying to get the kryptonite from Lex Luthor. But before he realises it's Lex Luthor, there's this whole sort of little bit going on where he's doing a little bit of detective work to try and find out who the White Portuguese is, but not really doing Batman-esque detective work.
Yeah, he's kind of trying to find it out subtly, isn't he? And I should also point out that you get Jeremy Irons as Alfred, don't you? He's only in it a very minor amount for such a great actor, but I thought he was very impressive in the small amount he did have.
And also during this point, we get Wonder Woman. She turns up for the first time, obviously not as Wonder Woman, just as Diana Prince.
We also get Clark Kent, don't we? Clark Kent is trying to investigate the Bat of Gotham, isn't he?
Oh yeah, and so we've got this relationship building where Batman doesn't like Superman and Superman doesn't like Batman, and they're at this party being held by Lex Luthor, and it turns out, well, from that point on, it's obvious that he knows that Bruce Wayne is Batman because he can hear the conversation that's going on in his earpiece, yeah?
Yeah.
Right. From there, we skip forward again. Superman and I'm missing bits of the plot out, but I'm not missing out anything that is particularly important.
Yeah, there's not really a great deal of importance here, is there? It's all set up. It's just all kind of trying to set up and establish why they don't like each other, why they're going to fight. There's one very minor confrontation, isn't there, when Batman is trying to get hold of the kryptonite.
Yeah, absolutely. And Superman kicks his car, makes it crash, and then goes, don't ever come out as Batman again because the Batman is dead. Also during this time, and we're jumping around a bit, but this is all kind of encompassed in this central part of the film. Superman goes to the Senate hearing. Unfortunately, it's all a setup, once again, by Lex Luthor, and the whole thing blows up, killing everybody, thus making people trust Superman even less.
Yeah, everyone thinks it's Superman's fault, don't they? I mean, everyone thinks maybe, I don't know if everyone's supposed to think Superman could have stopped it or what, but you do get, there's a lot of montages in this bit, isn't there, of Superman saving people, but the media kind of talking about, can we trust Superman? Why is he taking this action? Is he right to be doing this? What should he do? And it's all very... I'm not sure how you feel about that bit.
It all just feels like really it's like the filmmakers have taken all the criticism from Man of Steel about, oh yeah, Superman, you know, all he's about is making sure that Lois Lane's fine and killing everybody and, you know, stopping Zod at whatever cost. So they're trying to show, crowbar in, really, a more human side to the character.
Yeah, I don't think it worked, to be honest, but I'll get to that criticism of the original one again in a moment.
During this time as well, we also are made aware of the fact that Batman has nightmares, okay? And he has this one particular nightmare where he is, again, in the desert, and he is overlooking this giant Omega sign which has been burnt into the ground. And in the background, everything's been destroyed. He then goes into this little compound where he is shown this box which has this kryptonite in it. Unfortunately, all these sort of Nazi stormtrooper types turn up, and they are wearing the Superman symbol on their arms. They then team up with a bunch of parademons, which we'll get to in a moment, and they take down Batman. Now, during this sequence, we see Batman shoot lots of people. I don't know what you thought about that.
I was perfectly happy with that. I think in the context of the scene, it was acceptable. And actually, this was clearly a Batman as well. That he's clearly a Batman who's been around for a while. I don't think he's particularly fussy about killing people if he has to. Okay.
And then eventually he's captured, he's chained up, Superman turns up and basically goes to kill Batman, and Batman wakes up because, as you know, if you dream of your death, then you die, apparently, is the urban myth. So, as he's being woken up from that dream, Bruce Wayne, who is sat at his back computer, is visited. Now, I'm a bit confused by this. Was this in another dream? Was this a dream within a dream?
I think this was clearly supposed to be a visitation from the future, wasn't it?
Because he has this visitation, but then he wakes up. So it's almost like the visitation is part of his dream, which doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's clearly someone trying to send them a message from the future, isn't it? I think this is one of the first hints you get of building towards something bigger in the DC universe overall. You know, was this, by the way, I looked at it, it happened very quickly and there's some special effects over top, isn't there? So I wasn't sure if it was supposed to be a Flash or a Red Hood, but either way, it's some younger superhero character, isn't it?
It's definitely the Flash. Breaking through the Speed Force and going back through time to warn Batman, or Bruce Wayne, that he was right and that he shouldn't trust him, which obviously we're going to infer is Superman, and that Lois Lane is the key. Right, now I have issue with this, which we'll get to when we get to the end of the film. So we go on from there, and there's some more interaction between Bruce Wayne and Wonder Woman. Superman has been to the Senate hearing, that's all blown up. It then basically boils down to the fact that we discover that Bruce Wayne or Batman and Superman are being manipulated into a stronger hatred for each other by Lex Luthor.
Yeah, Lex Luthor, who has also got control of the alien technology, hasn't he? The crashed Kryptonian ship. And he's using it to create some kind of monster, isn't he?
Well, yeah, that's another issue as well, which we'll get to. He's creating this monster by mixing Kryptonian DNA with human blood.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
But this does also establish, doesn't it, that this crashed ship can take a dead Kryptonian body and somehow regenerate it.
So anyway, right, Lex Luthor is manipulating them both, which again makes the detective skills of Batman look very weak.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah. And this culminates in the battle between Batman and Superman, because obviously the film is called Batman versus Superman. So they begin to fight, and by this point Batman has his hands on the kryptonite, so he is able to make Superman weak, and they start beating each other up. This battle, bearing in mind the title of the film is Batman versus Superman, doesn't take place until about 90 minutes into the film, okay? And probably even longer than that. It's probably a little bit later than that, and lasts about 6 minutes of a 2.5 hour long film.
That's right, isn't it? It's 6 minutes, isn't it? And it's good. It's a good 6 minutes.
It's a good 6 minutes, but it's 6 minutes of 250 minutes, or however long it is.
Yeah, because it's a long movie. It is 2.5 hours roughly, isn't it?
Yeah, so what's that? That's 150 minutes, not 250 minutes. So 6 minutes, they have this battle, and then... right. Oh, I don't even know how to talk about this bit, Dave.
Right, well, let's establish Batman wins, doesn't he?
Okay, we'll come back to it in a minute. Batman wins the fight, but they basically both agree to be on the same page. Then this monster... Superman goes off to confront Lex Luthor, while Batman goes off to save Superman's mum, who Lex Luthor has held captive. So this then leads us to two separate little bits where Batman gets his own kick-ass fight scene where he basically beats the crap out of a bunch of villains.
This bit I thought was really good, by the way.
Yeah.
But then again, we've seen this kind of stuff before. It was a good fight sequence with Batman. But let's be honest, we've had 3 movies now, Batman Begins, Dark Knight Returns, where you've seen Batman beating the crap out of people.
Absolutely.
And it's always good, it's always well choreographed, so, you know what, Zack Synder did that little 3-minute bit well, you know. Clap, well done. All this stuff with a big guy in a big bat suit kicking the crap out of people. Well done.
Whilst Superman goes off, and he ends up confronting this regenerated Zod who has morphed into this monster, basically because he's got some of Lex Luthor's blood, which we know, of course, is Doomsday. So Doomsday is for anyone who doesn't know their comic book lore, Doomsday is a failed scientific experiment from Krypton. Now, obviously, this isn't what's happening in the film, but he's basically an unstoppable monster who wipes out half the Justice League before getting to Superman, who then the two of them battle in Metropolis until they both drop down dead. Now, in the film, Superman takes they have a bit of a fight. Superman realises he's getting his butt kicked, so he flies Doomsday up into space, at which point the human race, who, for my money, went to this option far too quickly, decide to fire a nuclear bomb at them both.
You know, I'm kind of with mankind on this side, because you're like, you know what happened the last time Superman had a scrap? Tell you what, let's just finish them both off. I'm on the human race's side here.
Okay, so anyway, it doesn't work, because it looks like it's killed Superman, but it's only made Doomsday stronger, because he absorbs the energy and becomes bigger and stronger, so he arrives back on Earth and starts beating the crap out of Wonder Woman, who shows up, and Batman. We should just point out as well, before this fight, Wonder Woman is looking at some files that she has got from Lex Luthor, which show her some footage of Cyborg being built, some footage of Aquaman, and some footage of, well, you don't really see him, but the Flash, right? That whole, well, we'll get to that later, but that didn't really work for me.
Yeah, for me it was a little bit shooed in. It was a little bit kind of, ooh, look at these guys. They're all going to get their own movies, by the way, guys.
Yeah, after the Justice League movie.
Yeah, how an Aquaman movie is going to work, I have no idea. But you know what? If they're going to give it a try, well done, guys. It can't be as bad as Fantastic Four.
But of course, we all know our Superman lore, and what happens when Superman is hit by the Earth's sun? Rays.
He begins to regenerate, doesn't he?
He regenerates, so he comes back, and the three of them are battling Doomsday. Unfortunately, they're still getting their butts kicked. Well, I say the three of them fight Doomsday. Wonder Woman and Superman fight Doomsday, while Batman sort of runs around hiding.
Yeah, there's not really a lot he can do, is there? This is just the problem when you get two really overpowered heroes and a really overpowered monster. Someone like Batman does just have to kind of hide in the shadows and kind of go, I'm Batman, I'm hiding behind a rock, I'm Batman. You know, it's kind of a bit embarrassing.
So, we get this big battle, and Superman uses Batman's kryptonite spear to basically kill Doomsday, right? Now, up to this point, this entire film was in the trailer.
Yeah, it was, absolutely.
Right, so we have seen literally nothing new up to this point because it was all ruined in the final trailer.
Yeah, in the trailer we saw Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman all standing together, didn't we? So we all knew, oh well, look, they're going to forget their differences very quickly. Wonder Woman's going to team up with them, and look, there's this big monster Doomsday. So Doomsday is going to be the thing that unifies them. But I do have to say, the brief view we got of Wonder Woman fighting, she was good.
Oh yeah, absolutely, right. So then Zack Synder decides to stop reading The Dark Knight Returns and read The Death of Superman instead, because Doomsday uses one of his spikes and he kills Superman.
Yeah, no question about that. Absolutely straight through Superman's heart, right?
Yeah. So Doomsday and Superman are dead in a direct reference to the Death of Superman comic. From there, we get a Superman coffin, which is black with a silver S on it, which of course is a nod to Superman's costume when he returns from the dead.
Yeah, which is clearly going to happen, obviously.
Yeah. And we get Bruce Wayne talking to Wonder Woman, having a conversation about maybe we should find the others and all get together as a big, jolly, happy team. Although not that happy because this is the DC universe, not the Marvel universe. And the whole film closes with Lois Lane chucking Earth onto Clark Kent's coffin because that is where his actual body is.
Yeah, so, Clark Kent, who is buried in Smallville, obviously.
Yeah. And the Earth on the coffin starts to rise up slightly, which is a direct link back to Man of Steel, where he takes off for the first time and you see the Earth levitating as he goes to shoot off into the air, right?
Right.
So the inference there is that Superman's dead, but he's already back alive before the film is even finished.
Yeah, but I mean, there you go. Even in the film, we've seen two ways he can come back. As you've seen, just after he got hit by the nuke, the sunlight regenerates him, and of course, there's a crashed alien ship, a Kryptonian spaceship, which can regenerate and bring back Kryptonians to life.
Or he can just come back to life anyway, off his own back, apparently.
Yeah, because he's Superman.
Yeah. So that was the film in a nutshell. Now, before we offer our opinion, right, couple of little facts about this film. Now, it was originally touted that they were looking at hopefully getting an opening weekend of $350 million, right?
Yeah, big money.
Well, they've actually surpassed that because the opening weekend took $424 million.
Almost $500 million already, then.
Yeah, which is the biggest opening for a superhero movie ever.
Impressive. I'd say that's impressive.
Yeah. And here, also, I read today, just as a slight aside, there are 2 petitions currently up on the internet where separate people have set up their own petition to get Zack Synder out of the DCEU.
You know what? That doesn't surprise me.
So, before we carry on with our opinions of the film, it's fair to say that opinion is divided. Most fans who are going in are loving this film, whereas most critics absolutely hate it.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a big division here as well. I think there's going to be I don't mean to be elitist here, but there's going to be fans, huge fans of the original movies and the comics, and there's going to be casual cinema-going fans who are like, hey, yeah, Superman vs. Batman, I'll go see that. I quite like the Batman films, I'll go see it.
Right, so here are just a few tweets from fans that watched this film on the early showings from Friday, okay? And as you'll see from the tone, they range from positive to negative. So someone's put, seriously, just an amazing film. This one is the game changer. Next comment. Saw Dawn of Justice last night, absolutely perfect. I won't spoil it, but the film is the greatest superhero film ever. And a final positive comment. Batman vs Superman is hands down the greatest movie I have ever seen. Every second was perfect. 20 out of 10 in my opinion. Now, not everybody has poured love on the film. Here is a sort of middling comment. It's the equivalent to episode 1 of Star Wars. You're going to see it, but it's not the greatest. And then finally, there's the negative. Batman vs Superman was an awful movie. Justice League will be delayed and later cancelled. One other person said, this was even worse than I thought it could be, which was already terrible. It could have been good, but it wasn't. It just wasn't. So with that in mind, those are the feelings of fans. What's your take on it, Dave, overall as a film?
My overall take is it's got good points and it's got bad points, but overall it's got far too much average stuff in it, and it's got far too many bad points about it as well. On the good side, I'd say Ben Affleck, I actually thought very good. I thought this was a good Batman to be moving forward with. And I'm interested in the idea of, it's a Batman that's been around for a while. There's one point in the movie, which we saw in the trailer, of the Robin suit with ha 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 jokes on you Batman. So he's obviously dealt with Joker already. But, like you said already, that was in the trailer. I wanted some elaboration on that in the movie. But Henry Cavill he was okay in Man of Steel, just okay. But in this, he was just awful. He had the emotional range of a turnip. He had the emotional range of a turnip. He wasn't given anything really to work with. And as we said, this Superman versus Batman, it's Superman versus Batman. The whole bit where they actually fight is, like you said, 6 minutes of the movie. And it's a good 6 minutes, but it doesn't make up for the fact that the first hour of the movie, fundamentally, nothing really happens. And I didn't really need to go see this movie, like you said. I watched the trailer, I thought, okay, so we're going to get Lex Luthor manipulate them into fighting. Yeah, that's what we got. We're going to get a flashback of Bruce Wayne seeing Metropolis being destroyed. Yeah, we got that. Good part of the movie, great part of the movie. We're going to get a little bit of Wonder Woman. We're going to get a tiny bit of investigative work, and then we're going to have a fight. And we had the fight. And then as soon as the fight's finished, we're going to have them teaming up with Wonder Woman against Doomsday. And you know what? A month ago, when that trailer... it was about a month ago, wasn't it, when that trailer came out? As soon as I saw that trailer, I realised, okay, so Superman dying at the end of the movie, and that's what's going to unify the Dawn of Justice. Yeah, that's what's going to create the Dawn of Justice. That's going to be the unifying force. The superheroes all coming together is the death of Superman. Well, thanks, guys. You put everything in the trailer and didn't leave anything for the movie. Well done, you. And just look at, when we've got examples from the last year to look at, you just look at Star Wars. They did one trailer. Just one proper trailer. It didn't give away the story. It didn't give away the plot. It didn't give away the major plot threads over who was going to live, who was going to die, who was going to be the hero, who was going to have the Force, what kind of villain was the bad guy. And I thoroughly enjoyed that movie. Great film. and look at the Marvel trailers for their films they've had. They don't give away the whole plot. It's just, to me, this movie had far too much average stuff.
Well, as I said, critics don't particularly like this film, and here's a few comments from critics. This is from Robbie Collin of The Telegraph. No major blockbuster in years has been this incoherently structured, this seemingly uninterested in telling a story with clarity and purpose. Here's another one from Mike Ryan of Uprocks. Honestly, I can't remember the last time I was legitimately looking this forward to a movie that I found this dull. About halfway through this over 2.5 hour movie, I had to stop my brain from thinking about other things like what groceries I needed to pick up. And finally, Jen Yamato of The Daily Beast says Batman vs Superman drowns so much in the juvenile angst of its heroes that the thought of getting away from them in the next 2 DC films is a welcome relief.
You know, I'd go with both of those comments. I'd thoroughly agree. I don't know about you, but for the first 2/3 of the film, I found myself kind of thinking, this is getting a bit boring.
Well, my kids were bored watching it.
Yeah, and I could sense that my wife next to me, I could sense she was getting bored as well. And also, the tone of the film, as described there, is really dark, isn't it? It's very serious. There's no humour whatsoever. Even in the Christopher Nolan Dark Knight films, there was a little bit of humour, wasn't there, between Batman and Alfred? But there's none of that here. There's, compared to the Marvel films again, where there's humour, there's the charm of Tony, there's the humour of Stephen Rogers being Captain America and Man Out of Time. It's got humour to it. They're dealing with serious stuff, aliens invading, but they still manage to put a little bit of humour in there somewhere. And I think there's very little in this movie that works for me.
Okay, right now we get to breaking down the individual parts of the film. So I've made a quick list here, so I'll read out the points I've made and then you can either counter or agree. Okay?
Okay.
My first problem came with young Bruce Wayne falling down the shaft into the cave. Okay? Like you said, we've already seen it before, but what in the hell was that whole the bats lifting him up like Jesus thing?
Yeah, when the bats were lifting up, I started thinking, what? He's flying. Why are the bats lifting him up? I don't understand.
That made no sense.
Yeah, but then he did say, didn't he? He said, oh, in the dream, the bats carry me towards the light. I thought, well, Batman has a lot of dreams in this film.
He does.
Seriously.
We've already covered the Metropolis opening, which we both thought was great. I've then written down the boredom, because obviously, as we've already discussed, that was what followed the Metropolis scene. No real reason behind Luthor's grand plan.
Yeah, I'd certainly go with that as well. There's no... okay, so, Lex Luthor, he doesn't particularly like Superman. He's clearly a bit crazy, but there's no real reason for him to get Batman and Superman to fight.
No.
So, also here, by the way, I'd go back to in the desert, when Superman comes down and he saves Lois Lane. Okay, so he saved Lois. Why does he then not come out, see all the dead bodies, and then go, who's done this? I'm getting them, and then fly and capture them. Another
thing there, Dave, is Superman is always there to save Lois Lane, right?
Right.
In fact, even at the end, towards the end, when Lex Luthor throws her off the building, Superman turns up to save her, yeah?
Yeah.
So where in the hell was he when his mum was being kidnapped?
Yeah, that's, again, in the car, on the way home, I said to my wife, so Lex kidnaps Superman's mum, and then says, ooh, they're holding a hostage, they're going to kill her if you don't go and fight Batman. Sure, he's Superman, he could just say, hang on, you realise I can hear her crying from here, right? So, off he goes, flies, rescues her, comes back and says, sorry, Lex, you were saying, you captured, here she is, she's safe, she's right by my side, and now I'm going to take you to jail.
Yeah, but even aside from that, that to me just says that he loves Lois more than he loves his own mum.
Yeah, well, he's clearly a bit of a mummy's boy. He likes to defend his mum, doesn't he?
Right. But, hang on, Dave, right? Because before we get to the mum thing, because that is the big thing. For me, as we've already said, the Justice League part was crowbarred in for no reason other than to set up a Justice League movie.
Yeah, I'd agree there. It's clearly just trying to set up a Justice League movie. And the fact we don't get enough Superman versus Batman in this movie to start off with, it just grates a little bit, if you ask me. Now,
Batman's dream that we alluded to earlier is clearly just a precursor for Darkseid.
Yeah, which he's the DC version of is it Galactus or Thanos?
He'd be more of a Thanos, really.
Yeah.
So, but the thing I don't understand about that is Batman has been living in a sort of isolated world where he fights crime, and Superman is the first sort of superpowered being that Batman comes across, right?
Right.
So how is he having a dream about parademons?
That is the issue, isn't it? It's whether, is this just a dream, or is it some kind of prophecy or premonition?
So anyway, they're building up Darkseid, because obviously he's going to be the big baddie in the Justice League film, which leads us on to Superman being dead, and of course the Flash's warning, because I think it's the Flash, not Red Hood, about don't trust him, blah, blah, blah. Now for me, I could be completely wrong, right? And if I am, more power to the fact that I am completely wrong. I think they've completely telegraphed exactly what's going to happen in the Justice League film.
In what way?
In that Darkseid is going to come back, Superman is going to rise from the dead, right? And he's either going to be slightly changed because he died, and he's going to be controlled by Darkseid somehow, or Lois Lane's going to die in some way, which is going to send him to the dark side, and he's going to, at some point in the Justice League film, he's going to team with Darkseid as Zack Synder touches upon the Justice Gods Amongst Us story with the whole Lois Lane dying thing.
Okay, and with some kind of red kryptonite thing, right?
Yeah. So I think that's exactly what's going to happen in the Justice League film.
Yeah, I think you've probably got it nailed there. I think I'd raise another issue I had towards the end of the movie. Obviously, one of the big fan issues with Man of Steel was just the collateral damage when Zod and Superman had their fight in Metropolis. They basically leveled the city, didn't they?
They did.
Now, they clearly go to great lengths towards the end of this film. Obviously, Batman arranges for his fight in a fairly abandoned building, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Then when Doomsday pops up, first he's in the city, and you hear them mention on the news, oh, the city is mostly abandoned because it's after 5 o'clock, everyone who works has gone home. And so Superman takes them off in space, and then they land on a little island or something, isn't it? Or a little island where, again, they say, oh, it's mostly uninhabited, it'll be okay. And then Batman makes Doomsday chase him to the docks, where Batman points out, it's mostly abandoned, it'll be okay, there's no one around. So this is 3 times in the space of about 15 minutes that they mentioned there's no one around. There's no one around to have any kind of collateral damage. And for me, it just kind of felt like a 3 wedged in mentions to make sure that no one has any problems with the huge damage caused by this fight.
But all of this aside, right, my one main and I have lots of gripes with this film, and I wouldn't score it very highly at all. In fact, I probably wouldn't even go as high as the 6 out of 10 that you gave it. But
really,
my one, in every film, well, not in every film, but in a lot of films, you have one facepalm moment, yeah?
Right.
Now, the facepalm moment for me in this film, and I'll just give you one word, and then you'll understand what I mean. Martha.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, absolutely.
But for anyone who hasn't seen the film yet and is listening to these spoilers, basically what happens is Batman is fighting Superman. He's got him beat. He's about to stab him with the kryptonite spear and kill him once and for all. And Superman goes, okay, fair enough, you got me. Do me in. Just save Martha. To which Batman goes, why don't you say that name? And he's like, just save Martha. Tell me why you'll say that name. then Lois Lane comes running in. She goes, he said that name because that's the name of his mum, which obviously resonates with Batman because his mum was called Martha too. And that is effectively the only reason why Batman doesn't kill Superman, is because their mums have the same first name.
Yeah, that's the reason.
Which is got to be one of the crappiest things in a superhero movie ever.
Yeah, it is, and it just doesn't make sense. I mean, Superman is supposed to be this really good moral character. He should have been the character to just turn up and say to Batman, I don't want to fight you, but Lex Luthor has kidnapped my mum, and he's going to kill her if I don't fight you. So, how can we deal with this?
Well, he does try, sort of, doesn't he, to begin with, but Batman's not having any of it, is he? He's like, I will kick your ass!
Yeah, and again, this just points out how short the fight is. Superman, there's some guns, there's a little bit of Batman trying to lay a trap, and Superman just gently taps him, and he just goes flying for a building, and then Batman gets out his kryptonite grenade. Yeah, okay, kryptonite grenade. Superman's weaker now. Punch. Ooh, Superman's recovered. Punch. For a wall. Kryptonite grenade. Okay, Superman's weak again. Punch. Out comes a kryptonite spear. It's like, there you go. There's your Dawn. There's your Superman versus Batman.
Yeah. Right. Now, in closing this, because we have taken up more than half the show talking about this film, I had a quick look at the MCU versus the DCEU, right?
Okay.
In comparing the two, because obviously the big talk is of DC trying to play catch up and rushing things through, right?
Right.
So I wrote down the list of Marvel films that we've had to date and a few that are going forward, and then the list of DC films that we've had and the ones that are going forward. And by the time that we got to the first Marvel team-up film, which was, of course, Avengers Assemble, and this isn't an exhaustive list, but we had seen Iron Man, Black Widow, the entirety of S.H.I.E.L.D., Hawkeye, War Machine, Thor, all of Asgard, Loki, Captain America, Hulk, General Ross, and a little bit of Thanos, right?
Right.
Okay. Now, by the time we get to Infinity War in the Marvel thing, we'll have seen all of those people, plus we will have seen the entire Guardians of the Galaxy cast. We've had Ultron, we've had Ant-Man, we've had Wasp, we'll have Spidey, we'll have Doctor Strange and Black Panther. Right? By the time we get to the Justice League film, in the DC thing, we will have seen Superman, Zod, Batman, Doomsday, Wonder Woman, and the Suicide Squad, who have nothing to do with the Justice League film anyway.
Yeah, it's not a very big comparison, is it? I think for me, DC is trying to rush it through.
It just feels like such an ass-backward way of doing it.
It is, and I think, no doubt the Justice League will make a lot of money at the cinema, but, I said to you, I asked both my kids, after we'd seen the film, I said, right, guys, where does this rate? Is Dawn of Justice better than Avengers Assemble? And they said, no, Avengers Assemble is better. I said, okay, is it better than Avengers Age of Ultron? And then they said, no, Avengers Age of Ultron is better. And I said, okay, how about Captain America Winter Soldier? Is it better than that? And they also said, no, it's not better than Captain America Winter Soldier. So here's a film that I'm sure it's going to make a lot of money. I'm sure it's going to make a ton of money. But how is this going to turn out long term for Dawn of Justice? And a Flash movie and an Aquaman movie, all that stuff, when its main fan base don't rate it as high as any of the big Marvel movies.
So, in closing, I would say probably Batfleck versus Superville, going back to that name, Dawn of Justice. It's just okay.
It is, that's what I'd say. And a film like this shouldn't be just okay, should it?
It shouldn't, no, but there's so many things wrong with it that it will never be any better than that.
Okay, before we finish, just one question.
Yeah.
Ben Affleck, yes or no?
See, now I will admit that, as we touched upon at the beginning of this review, that I was completely anti Batfleck, as you were. Now, having watched it, he is good as Batman, but I would put the caveat on that he's good as Batman in a very average film, right? And I certainly wouldn't go along with the argument that a lot of people who have seen this film are saying that he's the best Batman ever.
No, you couldn't say that at all, because he hasn't carried a movie on his own. I mean, look at Christian Bale. He did 3 movies, and he was basically pretty good in all those. So I'd say you can't say it's the best Batman ever.
And I know this is slightly ridiculous, and it is a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but I could have played Batman in that film and been the best thing about it.
Yeah, okay, that is, yeah. I'd actually argue that he's really good as Bruce Wayne. I don't think he looks very good in the bat suit in this movie.
Well, in the robot suit, when he's fighting Superman, he looks like Batman.
He does, he looks ridiculous, doesn't he? But that's not his fault. He's been given the suit to wear, he's wearing the suit. And when he's in the fight scenes, it could be almost dead wearing that suit. He probably is a stuntman anyway. But fair play to him, he's put on a lot of muscle, hasn't he? He
has, yeah. So, yeah, I will go with it. He was quite good in the role. So, normally, at this point in the show, we would go into the movie news. But, frankly, we don't have time. So, we are going to skip straight in to this.
There's something curious about this broadcast.
It is, of course, the second part of our 5-part countdown of the top 50 World of Stew movies that you must see because they're awesome. Last week we counted down 50 to 41, so this week we start at number 40. And at number 40 we have another one of yours, Dave. It is Life is Beautiful. Released in 1997 and directed by and starring Roberto Benigni. Benigni, okay. Life is Beautiful tells the tale of a Jewish bookkeeper named Guido in 1930s Italy who courts and marries a woman from a nearby city. They have a son and all is rosy until the occupation by German forces. Attempting to keep his family together and survive a concentration camp, Guido imagines the Holocaust as a game for which the prize is a tank.
Obviously this is one of those movies that is subtitled, so anyone who's not a fan of subtitled foreign movies probably won't give it a miss. I don't understand those people. Why would you rule it out just because it's subtitled? But yeah, this is just an incredible film. It's funny, it's bittersweet, it's just got such... For a movie that's about the Holocaust, you don't get any Holocaust movies that are kind of funny and humorous and feel good. It's just a most wonderful film. I couldn't recommend it highly enough. And the end, I just cried my eyes out.
And speaking of subtitled movies, we have number 39, which is Ringu. Now, Hideo Nakata is one of the best-known directors of the J-horror genre, having brought us the likes of Dark War and, of course, this classic, Ringu, which is probably the best-known of his films, I'd say, and probably the best-known J-horror film.
I think I'd probably go that. Yeah. Definitely, yeah.
The film tells the tale of a videotape that causes the death of anyone who watches it 7 days after viewing the cursed cassette. It spawned more than one sequel, as well as a Hollywood reboot, which was also directed by Nagata, although was nowhere near as good as the original.
No, it wasn't. It was successful, didn't it? It had both sequels in America.
Yeah, both sequels were directed by Nagata as well. Anyway, in at number 38 we have Gremlins. Now, it's been over 30 years since this bona fide classic was released, and not unlike other movies of this time, I would argue that it stands up to the test of time and should never be touched in the way of a reboot, although probably a sequel would be okay if it was done right.
Yeah, I think another sequel would be pretty good. I've argued for a long time, haven't I, that we should see the Muppets versus the Gremlins. I think that would be the best versus movie of all time.
Yeah. It, of course, tells the tale of Gizmo, who is a mogwai, a small furry creature that you must keep dry and never feed after midnight, although I never understood that because it's technically always after midnight.
Yeah, I think you've got a certain amount of leeway, haven't you? I mean, what is it? Okay to feed him at 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning? How about when it's daylight? What about if you put him on a plane and he crosses a time zone?
Doc Brown, he could get to the bottom of this.
Yeah, he could do that.
The effects are slightly dated, but I don't think that changes how awesome that film is.
Yeah, it's awesome. I think Joe Dante has never been better, and it works on every level, doesn't it? It's a monster movie, it's a Christmas movie, it's a comedy, it's an action, it's just perfect adventure movie in every way.
In at number 37, we have The Matrix. Now, would you agree that nobody saw The Matrix coming?
Yeah, I'd agree with that, definitely.
It was an unknown film released in the same year as Toy Story 2, Star Wars Episode 1, The Sixth Sense and Fight Club, and yet it has gone on to become a cult favourite that blew audiences away when they saw it. It was directed by the Wachowskis when they were still brothers. Keanu Reeves, Mr. Personality, stars as Neo, who discovers that the world we live in is a lie. It's a simulation created by machine overlords to keep us happy whilst they harvest us like batteries. Neo joins others in the real world, where he discovers that he is the One. The clue's in his name, Neo. Check it out. He's a mythical being who is foretold will free humanity from our captivity. Cutting-edge special effects make this film pop, and whilst the overall effect is watered down by 2 lacklustre sequels, the original Matrix is still a must-see film.
It is, isn't it? As a film on its own, it's just up there as like a 9.5, 10 out of 10 movie. And I don't know about you, Stu, 1999 was clearly a great year for movies. I remember watching it. First time I watched it, I thought, you know what, that was pretty good. And I went back and I watched it the next week, and I remember thinking, you know what, that wasn't just good, that was awesome. That's a game changer. And I think it took a little while for me to realise, but let's face it, every movie does choreographed kung fu scenes now. So many movies have copied the bullet time. It's a very copied movie.
In at number 36 we have Airplane. Now Dave, do you remember a time when comedy films were actually funny?
Surely you can't be serious.
Don't call me Shirley. The 70s and 80s were, for me, a golden time when comedians were actually talented and directors knew how to make us laugh. And right smack bang in the middle of this was 1980's Airplane. Directed by Jim Abrahams as well as David and Jerry Zucker, Airplane starred the likes of Robert Hayes, Peter Graves, Lloyd Bridges and the legendary Leslie Nielsen. This film is full of memorable quotes and scenes and is still a favourite 40 years after its release.
It is, isn't it? I mean, this isn't just a film that it's not just making fun out of airplane disaster movies. It's got gags by the second, hasn't it? And you look at all the movies now, Scary Movie 2, Scary Movie 3, they haven't got gags themselves, they're just making fun of some movies. And you know what, Airplane is just easily right up there as one of the best comedy movies of all time, definitely.
In at number 35, and it won't be the first time this man appears on the list, it is Reservoir Dogs. Now, back in the days before Quentin Tarantino was directing long, overblown parodies of his former self, there was a little movie that launched his career, and that film was Reservoir Dogs. It tells the story of a heist gone wrong as a ragtag gang of criminals deal with the fallout and try to figure out who is the rat within their midst. Taking influences from many of the movies that he grew up watching, Tarantino's second directorial effort, his first was 1987's My Best Friend's Birthday, was fresh and so different to anything we had seen before.
But can you explain the Mexican standoff at the end?
They all die.
There's an extra bullet from somewhere, isn't there?
Yeah, but the film was basically full of what we would become known as Tarantinoisms.
It is, and he should get back to that kind of movie, I feel.
In at number 34, it's Black Hawk Down, based on the best-selling book about the true life mission in Somalia on October 1993. The film is directed by Ridley Scott, of course did Blade Runner and Alien, who pulls a great performance from not only Josh Hartnett but also crazy old Tom Sizemore.
Absolutely, Tom Sizemore. We may see him as a bit of a figure of mockery now, but yeah, he was a pretty decent actor during the 90s. Was 90s and early 2000s, pretty good actor.
The story is about almost 100 US Army Rangers who are dropped by helicopter in the capital city, Mogadishu. to capture 2 lieutenants of a Somali warlord. This leads to a large gunfight and the destruction of not 1 but 2 Black Hawk helicopters.
Yeah, for me, as this is the best modern war movie made in probably the last 20 years. It doesn't hold any punches. It doesn't get into the politics of what's going on. It's literally, once these Rangers are dropped into the action, it's an hour of just bang, 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 bang action. And it shows you as well, some of these kids fighting, they're just 18, 19-year-old kids. And some of them are scared, some of them just don't know what to do. Some of them look to their elders, but some of them are also faced with some immensely difficult decisions, to take a gun to the crowds in front of them. And there's some absolutely stud performances. It's almost like a Brat Pack movie. You look at the stars in there now. You look at Eric Bana, Tom Hardy's in there, Ewan McGregor's in there, Josh Hartnett's in there. There's some actors in there, but so many actors in it have gone on to bigger things, and it's thoroughly worth watching.
At number 33, we have A Nightmare on Elm Street. Now, director Wes Craven made a career of directing horror, but none are as loved as 1984's A Nightmare on Elm Street. Robert Englund is Freddy Krueger, a child murderer who escapes on a technicality and is burned alive by the parents of his victims. He returns to haunt the town's teenagers in their dreams, where if they are killed by him, they die for real. The film would spawn 6 sequels, as well as Freddy vs. Jason and a god-awful remake.
Yes, shame about the remake.
Now, the thing that I love about Nightmare on Elm Street, and people don't remember this now because they kind of tend to make reference to the sequels, is Freddy Krueger did not make jokes in that first film. He was just an evil, psychopathic killer.
Yeah, and it's kind of bizarre, isn't it, how Freddy Krueger did, during the sequels, become a cool figure. He became an icon to be worn on people's t-shirts, and people would dress him as Halloween. But yeah, he was a character that is fundamentally a murdering paedophile. It's just bizarre how he became such an icon. But yeah, he didn't make jokes, did he? He was just scary in the first movie. In
at number 32 on the top 50 movies you must see because they're awesome is Lost in Translation. Director Sofia Coppola followed up 1999's brilliant Virgin Suicides. Would you agree with that?
I'd agree that was brilliant. Yeah, I enjoyed that movie.
With this Bill Murray vehicle in which he plays Bob Harris, who is an Asian actor who is in Tokyo to film an ad for a whiskey. Whilst there, he meets a young woman named Charlotte, played by Scarlett Johansson, who, like Bob, is unhappy with her life. This leads to a blossoming relationship between the two.
Yeah, I think Bill Murray has never been better than in this film. I think Scarlett Johansson has also never been better than this film, but also it is just such a perfect movie of unrequited love, I think. Yeah, it gets me every time. Great movie.
And finally this week, in at number 31, is a contentious choice, but it's my choice, damn it. It's Day of the Dead. Now, this is the third of George Romero's Living Dead films, back when he only had a trilogy rather than one film after another. It's considered by many fans as the weakest of the three, though for me it is my favourite. Now, most Living Dead fans will say that Dawn of the Dead is the best.
Okay, Dawn of the Dead.
That's the one in the shopping centre.
Yeah, I like that one. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but I enjoyed it.
Now, in Day of the Dead, it's a world where zombies have taken over, and the film takes place in an underground bunker in Florida, where a small group of scientists and military personnel hide out. The scientists are experimenting on the undead, and even have one zombie named Bub, trained to follow commands. This is at odds with the soldiers who want to kill all zombies. This, of course, leads to a clash of ideologies and the eventual death of most of the cast at the hands of the undead.
Yeah, would you ever agree to a remake of these films?
Well, obviously Dawn has had a remake, hasn't it, which wasn't that bad.
It wasn't that bad, but it was a Zack Snyder film.
It was a Zack Snyder film. It all comes back to Snyder.
It does, and you know what, I enjoyed that film, and I've enjoyed some of Zack Snyder's film. But his latest film, I think we've gone through that.
Yes, we have. And that was numbers 40 through to 31 of the top 50 films that you must see because they're awesome. We will count down numbers 30 to 21 next week.
That is all.
Now, Dave, like I said, we're not doing we're basically missing out a huge chunk of this week's show because we just don't have time.
Yeah, we did waffle on a bit about Superman, didn't we?
But there was one story in the superhero news I was going to do this week that I'm interested to get your take on. And that was that at WonderCon in America over the weekend, DC announced that they are going to reveal the name of the Joker. Now, this goes back to an issue of the Justice League comic where Batman sat in the Morbius chair and was allowed to ask two questions. The first question he asked was, who murdered my parents? The answer was Joe Chill. And the second question was, what is the Joker's real name? Which he was told, but we never discovered. We only heard his response, which was, that's not possible. Now, this is all part of DC's rebirth. I don't want to know the Joker's real name. What about you?
Yeah, I feel the Joker is more powerful when you don't know his name.
And you know it's going to be something lame like Thomas Wayne.
Yeah, that's it. It's going to be something lame. Maybe it's going to be time travel. Maybe it's... I don't want to know. I want it to be a mystery. It's always so much better if the Joker... A little bit like his character in The Dark Knight. It could be anyone. The point is, that's who he is now. It doesn't matter who he was. That's who he is now.
Well, unfortunately, we are going to find out very soon.
Oh dear.
Yeah. And before we close the show out, as usual with your Week of Geek, we occasionally touch upon wrestling news, and of course this coming Sunday is WrestleMania.
It is indeed. It's come around quick.
Now, I will admit that I'm actually excited about this year's WrestleMania, despite the card, because it's the first one that my kids have shown an interest in, so I'm actually going to sit up and watch WrestleMania on the WWE Network live with my kids at midnight on Sunday.
Okay, fair enough. That's the thing. If you want to watch it, it can be a good family event to watch, can't it?
Which is going to be awesome. So, leading into WrestleMania, obviously, we need to give our predictions for the matches that are going to take place there, because we like to have a little competition between ourselves to see who's going to come out on top. So far, every single one we've done, you have won.
And long may that continue.
Yeah. So we're just going to... The card is obviously subject to change. There may be other matches, but we are just going to look at the following. So we're going to start off right at the top of the card with what's going to be the main event and have 100,000 people booing. It is Triple H versus Roman Reigns.
Yeah, who did you go for on this one?
I have decided I'm going to go with the WWE calling an audible and changing their plan for the last 2 years to keep the belt on Triple H.
Okay, well, I'm going to go for them staying the course and just pushing the same guy, and it is going to result in a bit of an embarrassing boo fest for Roman Reigns, but I think they're going to put the belt on Roman Reigns. It's about time he got it back.
Okay.
And yeah, I think he'll lose it within a month.
Okay. Next up, we have Dean Ambrose versus Brock Lesnar, which is a no-holds-barred street fight. We've both gone for Brock Lesnar on this one because I think that's pretty... Dean Ambrose will look strong, but I don't think they're putting him over the beast.
Yeah, I think it would be amazing for him to get a win on this level against Brock Lesnar, but Brock Lesnar is, let's face it, he's Brock Lesnar. And it's WrestleMania. Dean Ambrose can afford to lose at WrestleMania.
Yeah. Third up, we have Shane McMahon versus The Undertaker. Now, the stipulations of this match are that if Shane McMahon wins, he gets control of Raw. Now, not control of the WWE, but control of Raw. And also, if The Undertaker loses, it is his final WrestleMania match. Not his final match ever, just his final WrestleMania match. So I have gone with Shane McMahon to win this match with outside interference from the Balor Club.
Yeah, I'd agree that Shane McMahon's going to win this one. I think it's about time The Undertaker was retired, let's put it that way.
And I don't even think that'll necessarily be it, because there's always ways out of that stipulation, isn't there?
Yeah, there's always ways. People come back. Maybe Shane McMahon himself says, you know what, come on back, you can work for me.
Yeah. Next up, we have the Divas Championship, which is Charlotte versus Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks, to which your response was, I don't know who any of them are, so I'm just going to stick with the champion, Charlotte.
Yeah, I mean, you know what, I know usually they're all good-looking ladies, and some of the divas have been quite talented recently, but anytime it comes to watching wrestling, I just fast forward past the divas matches.
I personally think that Sasha Banks is going to take the win there, so we will wait and see. Next up, US Champion Kalisto. Now, I'm not sure if he's defending the title or not, but I don't think it makes any difference, against the Man Mountain, that is Ryback. So you have picked Ryback, and I have gone with the underdog of Kalisto.
Why is Ryback fighting at WrestleMania anyway?
Who knows? Zack Ryder's fighting at WrestleMania, Dave.
Yeah, well, they've got to bring out everyone they've got this year, let's be honest.
Yeah. Next up, we have the...
I'm surprised being Gene Okerlund isn't fighting this year.
Yeah. The New Day versus the League of Nations. We've both basically gone for the New Day. Although I don't think the tag titles are on the line anymore, but I'm still going to go with the New Day.
Yeah, same. New Day are just over, aren't they, as bad guys. They're just doing a really good job.
We have the Usos. This is actually a match that's taking place on the pre-show. The Usos versus the Dudleys. I've just put that the Dudleys are going to win because the Usos are starting to get some Roman Reigns hate.
Oh, are they?
Yes.
Okay. I'm still going to go for the Usos winning this one.
Okay. Two more matches. We've got the Intercontinental Championship match between Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Dolph Ziggler, Zack Ryder, Sin Cara, The Miz, and Stardust. Now, you can instantly take Stardust, Miz, Sin Cara, Zack Ryder out of that, because none of them are winning.
Yeah, Dolph Ziggler, he's a talented guy. He can do some good matches, so I don't understand why he hasn't had a single decent push in the last 4 years. Is that?
Well, he did put the Authority out of business, didn't he, at the Survivor Series with help from Sting, but they got their jobs back within a month.
Yeah, that was never going to last, was it?
So you've gone with Kevin Owens to retain. I've gone with Sami Zayn to win purely because it'll be a nice end to his journey back onto the main roster.
Okay, I mean, yeah, I think I have to go for Kevin Owens because they're putting a lot into Kevin Owens at the moment. It wouldn't make any sense for him to lose.
And finally, we have this is also on the pre-show, the third annual Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Now, they haven't announced a lot of the people that are going to be in this yet, although it'll obviously have the Big Show and Kane and basically anyone they can drag off the card to go into this match. So I have picked Braun Strowman to win because apparently the WWE have big things planned for the biggest man of the Wyatt family.
Again, he's a big guy, but how can they justify giving him a proper push? Oh, are Chris Jericho and AJ Styles wrestling?
They may be having a singles match, so if we just write that down, AJ versus Jericho, okay, in that case, I'm going to add AJ to my list.
AJ Jericho. I think I'm just going to be contrary on that one. I'm going to go for Jericho.
Okay, and do you want to pick a random name from the roster for the Battle Royal?
Do you know what? I'm going to go for... you mentioned the Balor Club earlier on. I'm going to go for someone not on the main roster to win.
So someone from NXT?
Yeah, someone from NXT, someone from NXT or Balor Club or whoever, someone...
Okay, so I'm actually giving you a massive advantage there, because all I'm writing is NXT.
Okay.
Okay, so that could be anybody. So those were our predictions. They are now locked in. WrestleMania is on Sunday, and we will cover it in the next show and decide who won. All of which leads nicely into the final segment of every week on World of Stew, and that is this. This week, Geek. This Geeky Week. This week, Geek. This week, Geek. So Dave, what have you got in your week of geek?
Well, it's actually been quite a busy week this week. I mentioned it to you just before we went on air, and anyone who knows me on Facebook will have noticed I went to Insomnia in Birmingham at the NEC this week. And you didn't know, did you, Stu? But Insomnia is the UK's biggest gaming festival. It was across 3 days, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. I took the kids and just had a day pass for Saturday. Now, there's loads of stuff to do there this year. I think next year the kids want to go again, so I'm going to have to take them for probably the whole weekend, which is going to cost me a lot of money. But either way, it was a great gaming event. They had loads of different stuff to see. There's stuff there from Xbox, from PlayStation. There was a huge Minecraft zone where you could just turn up and play. There was just turn up and play tournaments for FIFA. There was turn up and play tournaments for Super Smash Brothers. There was a retro zone where you could go sit down and play old consoles like Nintendo 64 or the Atari or PlayStation 1. There were some great retailers there, selling old classic console Game Boys. One of my kids bought a Deadpool mask actually, so he's been wearing that all weekend. But also there were some of the world's most famous YouTubers there as well. My kids were thoroughly happy to have gone to meet Dan TDM.
Never heard of him.
But yeah, he's one of the world's most famous YouTubers. He rakes in a lot of money. He makes videos about Minecraft, which of course so many kids love. But also one of the other greatest YouTubers there was Syndicate. He talks about Call of Duty and all those kind of games. But my kids were so happy because I won a competition to meet Dan TDM, which meant that we could queue up for 2 hours in an empty warehouse and have our photo taken with him. Now, obviously for me, it was standing in line for 2 hours. For the kids, it's getting to meet their idol. So, I'm happy, they're happy. But I'd have to say this was one of those events that I would love to go to again. The kids very loved it, and I can recommend it to any fans of games out there, especially of Minecraft. Just go for 1 day. If you like it, yeah, go for a whole weekend next year. But also, just other stuff this week. Batman issue number 50 was released last week. I've only just got round to reading it because, postal issues. It's only just arrived. But for me, this kind of feels like a bit of an end of an era. It's for one of the last issues from Greg Capullo, and I've actually written down Zack Synder here. It's not Zack Synder, thank God. It's Scott Snyder.
It's the good Snyder.
Yeah, it's the good Snyder. It's the Snyder we want to see controlling Batman. But yeah, this is the end of the super heavy story, which I've had doubts about all the way through. But this is one hell of an issue from Greg Capullo. The artwork is just 10 out of 10. I just so wish he was staying on to work on a Batman issue.
Although, can I just say there, also at WonderCon that we mentioned earlier over the weekend, it was announced that I did it then. Scott Snyder has signed another new exclusive contract with DC, and he will be working on a new book called All-Star Batman.
Yeah, I did see that actually. I'm quite excited to hear that because Scott Snyder will be working on a Batman title, but also Tom King, who has been writing one of Marvel's best comics for a long time, The Vision. He is also moving to DC and writing Batman as well. So they are going to have two absolutely awesome writers work on Batman.
And Tom King, of course, also worked on Grayson.
He did, which I haven't read, but I've been told was very good. But yeah, mixed feelings over seeing the Batman New 52 era end. But with these writers moving forwards, I think any new fans if Dawn of Justice happens to make any new fans of the comics, which I doubt. Just pick up the new Rebirth issues, because Tom King and Scott Snyder, they're bound to do a great job. Also, Daredevil Season 2, the Punisher story has kind of, I don't know, mixed feelings about that, but Elektra is just coming into it as well. She is kind of, I feel like they're almost starting to do justice to Elektra as well. So, I'm going to keep on watching. I'm only halfway through the series at the moment, but it's pretty good. I'd say it's about 7 out of 10 so far. But also today, sat down with kids and I watched The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2.
So, is it any good? Because I have this on my list to watch.
It's... I'm not sure. I might have to watch it again. It's just like Mockingjay Part 1, it's a very different kind of ending to this film franchise. You definitely get that sense of finality at the end of it. You definitely get some action, but there's definitely that feeling throughout the film of Katniss not being able to escape her fate, of these are characters who have all been thrust into a war they didn't want. So I would say it's good. I'm not sure I'm the kind of audience that is trying to attract, but overall I'd give it a score of about 7 out of 10.
Can I just say as well, actually, going back to previous weeks that you've done, I took one of your recommendations on and purchased and read the trade paperback of Secret War.
Oh yeah, how do you feel about that?
Now, when you read Secret War, did you have any of the extra issues, so like the individual books that sort of tied into it? Did you read any of them?
I was really selective with those. I read Old Man Logan and I read Civil War.
Because the reason why I mention that is because there were certain parts of it that just felt a little bit out of nowhere to me, having just read those 9 issues of Secret War.
Yeah, that's it. I think you're always going to get that with an event as big as Secret Wars. Obviously Marvel have got their new event coming up, haven't they? Civil War 2. And last week they've announced a huge amount of issues to go along with that. They're going to have Civil War choosing sides, they're going to have Civil War X-Men, Civil War Spider-Man. You can't buy them all, can you? It's just impossible.
And can I ask you a question about the end of Secret War?
Okay.
Now, the multiverse is destroyed, right? And from the multiverse, Doom creates Battleworld. Is it Battleworld?
Battleworld, yeah.
Yeah. Which, as we've discussed before, is made up of all the different universes, each having their own little part. Now, at the end, when Reed Richards has taken over the god power from Doom, he is working with his son, Franklin, and the inference that I got was that they were recreating the multiverse.
Yeah, that they're recreating the multiverse bit by bit, basically.
It just seemed to make the whole thing pretty pointless.
It was pretty pointless. I think Marvel kind of made it sound like they're going to do a proper whole reboot of their comics, but actually, you look at the comics they're at now, nothing's changed.
Okay, well, I enjoyed it. It was a good read, and I literally picked it up off your recommendation.
Oh, thank you very much. Like you said, I enjoyed it. I thought it was an epic story by itself. It's just a shame Marvel didn't have the courage after that to do a proper reboot, instead of just saying, oh, everyone's just kind of forgotten it and doesn't know what happened. They're just getting on with their life as normal.
So, did you have anything else in your week of geek?
No, I think that was it. I think I've got a bunch of comics that have yet to be delivered this week, but bank holidays, that's life.
So, before we close up this show, we just have enough time to do the usual housekeeping. So, if you want to... Why do I keep saying so? I don't know. Let's go to where I don't know, as I make up words that rhyme with so. What am I talking about? Who knows? Right, I think I'm losing the plot, Dave. It's my age. Middle-aged and crazy.
Middle-aged? You are getting there now.
Yeah. You ain't far behind.
No, not far at all, but you're going to be there before me.
Yeah. You can find us on Facebook, World of Stew basically just look up World of Stew on Facebook. You can go to our website where Dave has a in-depth personal look at Dawn of Justice on our blog, on our website, which is silentmovieman.wix.com/World of Stew. And you can also check us out as part of the Pancast Productions Network. Just go to pancast.co.uk and follow all the links there, yada yada, you get the point. All of that said, it is time to get to this week's closing song. And Dave, we've got a doozy this week.
What have we got this week?
It's from 1993. Don't know if you remember this one. It is the WWF, as it was back then, Superstars with WrestleMania.
Oh, I think I may have even had that on a cassette tape.
You know, the one that goes, oh, WrestleMania.
Yeah, I may have had that because I was quite sad and at that age, and I sent off for a cassette tape of the wrestler's soundtrack. So I had the Demolition, I had the Ultimate Warrior soundtrack.
So that's the song we're going to finish with this week. It just gives me enough time to say thank you everyone for listening, and we hope that we haven't completely destroyed Dawn of Justice for you, but if we have, we've probably done you a favour. Thank you for being on the show, Dave.
Always fun, always welcome.
And until next week, here is WrestleMania. I'll keep it geek.
I said, are you ready for the Survivor Series?
Who will survive? Execution is on top. There's a new